Good evening here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Staley Gates Manor for the second installment of our Daily Norseman YouTube video series. This particular time I want to take a look at who we were selecting in the second round of the SB Nation Writers Mock Draft. It's being held over at Mocking the Draft, www.mockingthedraft.com. I asked everybody who they thought we should go after, what position we thought we should go after, and the poll indicated that we should go with a wide receiver with our second round pick, and so I went that route. And the individual I wound up selecting was LSU wide receiver Rueben Randle. Probably not going to be a terribly popular pick with some of the other names that are on the board at this point in time. But taking a look at what Randle brings to the table, he's a bigger receiver. He's about 6'3", comes in about 210 pounds or thereabouts. So he's a bigger guy. He's probably the youngest receiver in this draft. He hasn't turned 21 for another month. And he does have a great deal of physical talent. He's pretty fast. He seems to have the ability to be a deep threat. He averaged about 17 yards a catch for LSU in a system with a couple of quarterbacks that were relatively awful for most of the season. Anybody who saw the national championship game saw just how awful LSU's quarterback situation was. And there are people that are going to point to certain games that Rueben Randle had and try to kind of degrade what he did on a whole because of that. But at this point of the draft, you're not going to get guys who were superstars or super productive all the time in college. These are for guys who are going to be more developmental type prospects, and Randle fits into that pretty well, I think, with his speed and his size. And he does have a pretty good set of hands. He catches the ball away from his body, doesn't let it get into him too often. And so that is the reasoning behind my taking Rueben Randle with the 35th overall pick for the Minnesota Vikings in the 2012 SB Nation Writers Mock Draft. As we get close to the draft here, we're going to continue taking a look at the Vikings and what they might do in some of the later rounds, and possibly look back at some drafts from the past as well. But thank you for subscribing, and we hope you enjoy our Daily Norseman YouTube video series.